Hi everyone. So I spoke to a couple of students today who were having trouble with this practice test, so I thought I would go through a few of the solutions here to help you go through it. I'm not going to go through it in great detail. This is more a bit of a speed check. So when I'm simplifying surds in question 1, the first thing I have to do is get like surds, and to get like surds I have to be able to simplify. So if you don't know how to simplify a surd, talk to your teacher about practicing that skill. But I'm going to make all of these down to a surd that has a 2 in it. So this one becomes 3 times the square root of 4, which is 2. So the first part becomes a 6. So it's 6 root 2, and then it will be plus 12 root 2 minus 15 root 2. And when I put all of those bits together, now they are like surds. I can simplify it. 6 plus 12 is 18. Take away 15 is 3 root 2. In the second one, when I multiply, I do the whole number times the whole number, surd times the surd. So minus 5 times 4 is minus 20. 6 times 15 is 90. And then the square root of 90 can be simplified by making it 9 times 10. And then I still need to multiply that by the negative 20. So the square root of 9 is 3. Notice I work out that part. Square root of 9 is 3. Negative 20 times 3 is negative 60. And I can't go any further with the root 10. So it just stays as a root 10. Next problem, squared means times it by itself. Most students found it easiest to write it like this. And then 3 times 3 is 9. Root 5 times root 5 is equal to, is just the whole number 5. And out the front, I've got a minus sign. 9 times 5 is 45, so it's negative 45. When I expand brackets, I need to times when I use the distributive law, I times the number out the front by each part individually. So this becomes 2 root 18 minus 8 root 6. And then now the square root of 18 can be simplified by making square root of 18 equals 3 root 2. So this becomes 6 root 2 minus 8 root 6. And because they're not like surds, I cannot go any further. All right, that's where I stop. Next one, same deal. Multiply out the brackets using the distributive law. That becomes 8 times root 49. And I never write root 49 because I know that that is just 7. So I do 8 times 7 for the first part. And then 4 root 7 times root 14. I'm going to actually use a trick here. I'm going to put the plus sign from there. And then I'm going to do 4 root 7 times, and I'm going to break the root 14 into root 7 times root 2. And then at the end of all of it, I've got 14 root 2. Now my reason for doing that is the root 7 here and the root 7, they just equal the whole number 7. So the next line is 8 times 7 is 56. And then 4 times 7 is 28, and I still have a root 2, minus 14 root 2. And then the 56 is just the number 56, and these two terms have root 2s, so I can put together the like terms, the ones with the root 2 in it, and my answer becomes 56 plus 28 root 2 minus 14 root 2 is 14 root 2. My final answer is 56 plus 14 root 2. Now I could times these and do 32 times 24, but that's going to give me a gross number that's too big for me to really think about, so I am going to simplify the surds first. Root 32 is the same as root 16 times root 2, which becomes 4 root 2, and root 24 is the same as root 4 times root 6, which becomes 2 root 6. So it's 5 times 4 root 2 times 2 times 2 root 6. And then times the whole numbers. 5 times 4 is 20, times 2 is 40, times 2 is 80. and root 2 times root 6 is 12. And now I can also simplify 12. Root 12 is the same as root 4 times 3, which is just equal to 2 root 3. So now it becomes 160 root 3. And there's your answer. So whole numbers times whole numbers, surds times surds, always simplify your surds. Next problem's a bit ugly. It's not too bad, but let's work through it one part at a time. So I've got negative 3 root 5 squared, so I need to do negative 3 times negative 3. So negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Root 5 times root 5. Root 5 times root 5 is just 5. So now I've squared the first part. Put the minus sign in. 2 squared is 4. Root 3 squared is just 3. So my equation becomes 45 minus 12, which is equal to 33. So don't forget, if you've got root 5 times root 5, it'll just be 5. Root 27 times root 27 will just be 27. Before I can add and subtract, I need a common denominator. So let's get the common denominator of 8 and 12. The smallest number that go 8 and 12 both go into is 24. So to get to 24, I'm going to times that by 2 and that by 2. To get to 24, I'm going to times that by 3 and that by 3. So we get 15 root 10 on 24 minus 14 root 10 on 24, which becomes 1 root 10 on 24. And I do not need to write the 1 on the top line, so my answer is just root 10 on 24. Actually nothing to do with the surds there. We just had to work out how to manage fractions and keep the surd off to the side. Okay, so that's the first video, which is question 1. I'll make a separate video for some of the other questions. Thanks for watching.